much of a surprise was this that the mechanics, the political mechanics of Iran allowed a reformist to be elected?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. So I would say it certainly is somewhat of a surprise. And if you bear in mind that going into these presidential elections, every single candidate had to be vetted by the so-called Guardian Council. Mr. Pezeshkian was the only so-called quote-unquote reformist candidate to make it through. And the fact that he went on to win by a margin of 3 million votes versus the hardliner candidate, Mr. Jalili, is quite indicative of a public that is looking for change. However, I do want to point out that turnout at these elections has been historically low. The first round only got about 40% of a turnout. Second round, very close to 50%, which is the lowest number in history for Iranian presidential elections. It really underscores just how much distrust there is in this electoral cycle, and is really going to be one of the key challenges that Mr. Pezeshkian is going to be facing at the beginning of his term, simply because distrust in the system is running at very high levels. And of course, he has been painted as a reformist candidate. But I think it was noteworthy yesterday that in his acceptance speech, he thanked the supreme leader, Mr. Khamenei, for his support. And he said that he's looking forward to implementing policies put forward by the supreme leader and a continuation of his predecessor, President Raisi, who, of course, was killed in that helicopter crash. Now, one of the key elements that he's talked about is looking to engage once more again with the West. And as you know, Iran's economy has been crippled by heavy sanctions imposed by the West, by the U.S., and the fact that President Trump pulled out of that nuclear deal back in 2018. And on the back of that, what you have seen is a steady degradation of the Iranian economy. The new president is coming in and he's saying we need a new, fresh pair of eyes, and perhaps we look forward to opening a new wave of discussions with the West. But how far he's going to go and how reformist the Ayatollah is going to allow him to be is a big question.
OK, you've really important context around that reformist label. What has the reaction been then from the international community so far, Joumanna?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anyone to hear that one of the first congratulatory messages to come through was from President Putin in Russia. He congratulated the new president, saying that he looks forward to closer cooperation within the two countries. Iran and Russia have always enjoyed good relations, he said. Saudi Arabia, also one of the first countries to congratulate, both from the king and the crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, sending along a congratulatory message. That is key because they only recently restored diplomatic relations a couple of years ago. The EU, a bit more cautious with their own messaging. A spokesperson for the Foreign Affairs Department tweeted, "We're ready to engage with the new government in line with the EU policy of critical engagement." And then the big one, the U.S., no official comment out of President Biden, but what we did get was a remark out of a spokesperson saying that the elections won't have a significant impact on our approach. Our concerns about Iran's behavior are unchanged. And of course, they're talking about the fact that Iran have actually continued with their uranium enrichment program. They're very close to a bomb-grade level of enrichment, which is a warning, a signal to the rest of the world, and is also why many less hawkish parts of the administration are looking to perhaps re-engage with talks with Iran. But again, all of that could change with the U.S. elections if President Trump does come back come November.